understand how difficult it may be to be in a caloric deficit, especially for a long period of time. I wanted to share with you my biggest tip on how to make this a much easier process for you, just so you can actually stick to that and see results like this. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Oh, before that, hi everyone, my name is Flo. I'm a certified personal trainer, and my mission in here is basically to help you reach your dream body the healthy, the sustainable way. I've done it myself, clients are now doing it, so why not you? And now let's get into the video. My biggest tip as an ex-binge eater who would binge because I was in too big of a deficit is to be in a 15% deficit, not more. This maximizes fat loss while minimizing cravings, the likelihood of a binge, feeling miserable on the journey, hungry, and not being able to stick with said deficit. What you want to do is go on any calorie calculator online. You just enter your height, weight, age, and level of activity, and that's going to give you a rough number, which should be your maintenance. From that, you are going to calculate a 15% deficit, and that's what you will enter in apps like MyFitnessPal. That will definitely give you the results that you want without having to find it impossible to stick to that number. I have clients who are getting in the best shape of their life while still eating 1800 calories a day, for example, and that's just their 15% deficit. Second big tip: eat nutrient-dense food. That means that you will feel fuller for longer and therefore feel less miserable on the journey, if at all. I definitely recommend getting a lot of fruits and veggies because those are basically fibers, and also eating enough protein. I would recommend starting at 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight and building up to 1.8 or up to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Proteins are harder for the body to digest. It takes more work, which means that, again, you will feel fuller for longer. With that being said, let's talk about the 80-20 rule, because it's going to be so key. That usually means that 80% of their diet is going to look as healthy, nutrient-dense, whole food, and high protein as possible. 20% is going to be whatever they want to eat, really. It can be even 75-25, especially at first when you're kind of getting used to eating healthier. If you eat breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner, that means that one of them, whichever one you want, gets to be whatever you want, whatever your soul craves. On my own cup, I was still eating pizza, burgers, churros, and the like, and I was not feeling restrictive just because I was allowing myself every single day if I wanted to a fun food, and that really helped in the process. For example, when I was going out with friends, that made it so much easier to feel like I was still being part of the group and not feeling excluded because of working on my goals. You can work on your goals and reach your fitness goals without having to sacrifice your social life and just life in general. The fourth tip is to sleep enough. Make sure you get 7.5 hours to 9 hours. So many reasons behind that, but one of the biggest one is that when you don't sleep enough, what happens? You feel hungrier, and not for the healthy food. You know, you're going to be craving the high in sugar, high in fat, high in calories food, which will make it more difficult to stick to your deficit. And that's normal. Your body didn't get the energy it needed through sleep, so it's going to try to get that energy through something else, mostly food. So do not underestimate the power of a good night of sleep, because you will regret it for sure. An advice, not a threat. I get how overwhelming it can be, especially at first, to track your food, to track your intake, and try to be as precise as you can with that. But you don't need to use the scale for every single food. What I mean by that is fruits and veggies, you don't need to weigh them at all. Just no point in weighing your tomatoes or lettuce. However, what I really recommend my clients to actually weigh with a scale to be more precise. I know that some of you use cups, but it's not going to be as precise as a scale and grams. I definitely recommend you weigh your proteins, just because that way you'll ensure that you actually reach your protein intake goal. And you should also weigh, very importantly, your fat, because one small tablespoon of oil versus one bigger tablespoon of oil is not going to be the same calories, and over time it can add up and you will either not be in a deficit or actually be in surplus. And I also recommend weighing your complex carbs. For example, you know, the rice and pasta and stuff like that. It will just make it easier for you to make sure you eat enough, not too much. And that's why I definitely do believe in tracking and counting calories as the only unsustainable thing you have to do to get sustainable results, because tracking calories and knowing your macros will teach you a lot about nutrition first. So it will be easier to maintain your new body once you get there, just because you will be very good at eyeballing. This is like 80 grams of rice. I know that because I've weighted it enough that now I can eyeball it. It will also allow you, as I said, to be more flexible, because you can easily go out and you can just plan ahead a little bit. And that moves us to the second part of this video, I wanted to give you a couple strategies on how I would advise you to track. The most important part is, especially on MyFitnessPal, I have my meals that I eat on repeat saved. That means that every time I eat that, especially for breakfast, I have like 3 in rotation. Actually 2. I have either the cookie dough recipe or my tiramisu inspired oatmeal. Those are the 2 I eat. If I were to track, I would just add the entire meal instead of trying to, you know, add the specific ingredients one by one. It saves so much time, and now I know exactly the macros for that. It just gets easier for me the more I do it, and it's going to be the same for you. The second thing is to try to figure out the best time for you to track your food. Some people like to do it as you go along the day, and if that works for you, that's great. Second way to do it is take a picture of your meals, track it at night. It is less precise and it can sort of add up as you go because you have more and more food to track, and it can feel like big of a task than it really is. Don't think this is for everyone. This may be for the people who have, again, those meals on repeat because you know it by heart, you know the grams and everything by heart, then that would work. The other I recommend, and I think that's my favorite, is to do it the day before. If you know I'm gonna have this for breakfast and then I'm gonna pack that for lunch and I will have that as a snack and dinner we'll see tomorrow, you already have 3 meals all ready to go, and then in the morning you won't have to actually decide what to eat and what quantity and then to add it to the app, which is even more work. You know what will be left in terms of calories for dinner, so if you feel like eating out or if you feel like eating something else, that will work as well, and that will fit into your deficit and into your macros. So those are the 3 strategies that I definitely recommend in order to make tracking easier, on top of my 5 tips that I definitely recommend to actually being able to stick with your deficit so you can get, again, results like this. Now, if you're someone who wants to lose 20+ pounds within 90 days without starving yourself, spending hours on the treadmill or cooking, without saying goodbye to your favorite food and social events, and of course, without getting the weight back right after, which is the worst thing that could happen, highly suggest you book a free consultation call with me below. We'll see if and how I can support you, and if I can, I will 100% welcome you into my program, and if not, I'll do my best to actually redirect you and guide you to the best of my knowledge. So it is commitment free and free. It's just to help you on the journey. And if you do join my program and do everything that I say and don't see the results, I will refund you in full. This is how confident I am that my method works. Followed that process myself, and my clients who go from 20 to like 50 years old actually follow that process and are also seeing results, whether they are students, solo mom, entrepreneur, or even getting ready for a wedding or moving countries. They are all seeing results, so why not you? And that was pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. You know, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.